The following contest is a third-round match in the Kings of Consoles tournament to determine the greatest game in the history of the Nintendo Entertainment System. 2 games enter, only one can advance. Introducing first, the 93rd seed, a 1992 platformer from Taito, Little Samson. And its opponent, the number 4 seed, a 1989 action platformer from Capcom, Mega Man 2. Your ringside judges are Pat Dooley and Ricky Giraldo. There's nothing left to say but round 3, fight! Hello and welcome to episode 71 of Kings of Consoles. This is the podcast where we're trying to find the best game for each home video game console by means of giant tournaments. We are well into round 3 now, and today we're taking a look at the number 4 overall seed Mega Man 2 as it takes on number 93, Little Samson. I'm Pat Dooley.
I'm Ricky Giraldo.
And yeah, so far, round 3, we're 2 for 2 with the upsets, with Metal Storm and Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game, both moving on to the round of, 16? Yeah, round of 16.
Yep.
Will we also get a game in the 90s this week? If anything's going to do it, it'd be Little Samson, which is a 1992 platformer developed by Takaru and published by Taito. It was directed and written by Shinichi Yoshimoto, produced by Yoshimoto and Kiyoshi Utata, designed by Yuka Kamagi and Yuko Sato, programmed by Dainoji, and I have no idea how to pronounce this. Assuming this is an alias, I'm just going to spell it out. Capital D dot capital B lowercase o 0 WY. With art by Hiroshi Kitamura and Yuko Nakamura, and music composed by Yoshiji Yokoyama, Yuki Marikawa, and Tsukasa Masuko. It beat Faxanadu in episode 14, then Adventure Island in episode 39. A king, upon hearing that a dark prince has risen and is trying to take over the world, sends 4 pigeons off with messages for 4 heroes: Little Samson, Kikira the dragon, Gam the golem, and Ko the mouse, summoning them for help. The game has 2 endings, depending on which difficulty you play. In easy mode, the heroes battle a golden wizard that turns into a demonic skull. Beating that boss wins the game. In normal mode, the Dark Prince's castle arises and the game continues. And according to PriceCharting.com, a loose copy can sell for over $1,000, while mint in-box copies can fetch over $3,000.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is one of those kind of hidden treasures of the NES. This is one of those that neither of us had ever heard of before we started this.
Nope.
Yeah, it's been fun. I mean, what did I say?
It's a good one.
Xanadu and Adventure Island through the first 2 rounds. In fact, Xanadu wasn't that great. But Adventure Island was pretty good for a, kind of a overly difficult platformer. But Little Samson, also a overly difficult platformer, remains.
Yeah, oh man, this game, it's really unique what they do with the 3 different types of characters you can be.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think we said this the first time we played it, like, the game completely changes when you're each of these characters.
Yeah.
When you're the golem, which is my favorite, I love the golem. Like, it's slow and it feels powerful. When you're the dragon, you can fly.
Mm-hmm.
You feel more agile. And then when you're good old Samson, you're just, I don't know, you feel like Mario. You feel like one of those characters.
Yeah, he's like parkour Mario.
Yeah,
And, like,
I don't
climb
know,
on things. And
playing it this time around, I could definitely tell how it's a classic.
yeah.
And I think it does look pretty. I think the graphics are really nice.
Yeah, agreed. It's 92, so we're getting close to the end of the NES era. The Super Nintendo is out, and we got about 2 more years left of NES games being released. So
I got a question.
Yeah.
Maybe you know this since you were more of a Nintendo guy. when when the Super NES came out,
Mhm.
did they release games on the like kind of like now, where the same game would come out on Super Nintendo and Nintendo?
Not really, no.
Because I was thinking, it's like, man, is this time like happening again? Because now you could get a PS4 game, but you could also get the same game in
Same
a
game on
PS5
5.
version. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I wonder.
There wasn't a lot like that. No, it was more so like Super NES started coming out with like 16-bit sequels to NES games. Like you started getting, Super Mario
Yeah,
World and Super Punch Out and Super Metroid, Super Castlevania 4, that kind of stuff. But no, I think more often you would see something come out for the NES and Game Boy at the same time. But I don't
gotcha.
remember there being a ton of NES, Super NES crossover. Um, I'm trying to think. There might have been no, because even that was later. I was thinking they did a new Battletoads game, but I think that was a couple of years after Battletoads for NES came out, so I don't think that was at the same time. I'm sure there are examples I'm blanking on, but the way I remember it, the two consoles were kept pretty separate.
Gotcha.
But
Because I
yeah,
could see this
I would be
game
interested in
on.
seeing a 16-bit version of this.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, I could see it on Super Nintendo because it does. For me, it does look like a Super Nintendo game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. Totally.
Like
It
you could
is.
tell they pushed the NES to the max.
Yeah. And it's also impressive that with all of that, with as detailed a backgrounds as it has, and the 4 different gameplays, and each character having their own soundtrack while you play as them, like, there's a lot of depth to the game, but it never. I don't remember it ever really like lagging like some other later
Yeah,
games do.
I agree. Like
Some of the
Kirby
like
lagged a lot.
Kirby lagged a lot. Oh, so a couple of the later Mega Man games lagged if there was
Yeah,
a whole lot going on screen. Um, but yeah,
I
Little
want to say
Samson was just kind of struck a really nice balance between like pushing the hardware, but not pushing it too far. And yeah,
agree.
it's really good. It's totally deserving of this spot in the third round. Hour number 3 was just as fun as the first two, even though um, picked up where I was last time with a password, and where I
Yeah,
was last time was really hard, so I got to play a really hard level over and over. Um,
yeah,
but still, still really, really good, really fun.
yeah. It's fun. And now, listeners, if you ever want to play it, it is in the Nintendo Switch, Nintendo Online system monthly subscription thing that they have going on, so you can
That's
play it
right.
there. Yeah,
Yes, please do.
yeah, please do. Yeah, check it out. It's fun. It is challenging because all these games are, let's be
Yes.
honest. But is this is one of those games where if they remade it, kind of like Boy and His Blob, I
Mm-hmm.
think it would be pretty neat.
Yeah, agreed.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think a new version of this would be very well if done
and
right.
I think
Not like
yeah,
what was that Contra game that they made that went way over the. They just did it on How Did This Get Played? Was the
oh
other
yeah,
one.
yeah, the
Um, Not
Contra,
Rogue Core. Rogue Core.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Don't do
yeah. What
that.
are they? Yeah, don't do that. But you could do like, I don't know. Like I said, like the Boy and His Blob, which I recommend you
Yeah.
guys play because it's really good. Or River City Girls.
Mhm.
That was doing go so good that that's getting a sequel. So, but I truly believe uh, that this game will work out in today's time.
Totally. Totally. Uh,
But the second game,
but the second game, its opponent, the number 4 ranked game in our tournament, is Mega Man 2, a 1989
oh
action
man,
platformer developed and published by Capcom, was directed by Akira Kitamura, who was also an artist on the game, along with Yasuaki Kishimoto, Naoya Tomita, and Keiji Inafune. It was produced by Tokuro Fujiwara, programmed by Nobuyuki Matsushima, and its score was composed by Takashi Tateishi. It got a first round bye, obviously being the number 4 seed, but we did see it beat Maniac Mansion back in episode 60. After being defeated by Mega Man in the first game, Dr. Wily returns with 8 new robot masters that Mega Man must defeat to get his hands on Wily a second time. The first Mega Man game was not a financial success, so Fujiwara, the producer, was against making a sequel. Kitamura, the director, instead went directly to Capcom to get permission to make it, which was granted on the condition that they make other games while they make it. And Mega Man 2 wound up selling 1.5 million copies, making it the best-selling game in the franchise, 42nd among all NES games, and 24th among games in our tournament. The game's creators reached out to fans for suggestions for the new Robot Masters and got 8,370 submissions, which they narrowed down to the final 8 bosses. Game Informer calls the intro sequence the 5th best video game opening of all time, and Screw Attack calls the Dr. Wily stage theme the 2nd best video game theme. So this is a winner.
Yeah.
This is one of those, when you think of the NES, this is one of those, you know, if somebody's like, hey, name 5 NES games, Mega Man 2 is almost certainly going to be on the list.
For sure.
I mean, iconic.
I don't think with the last time we played this, we talked about the music enough. But the main theme of Mega Man 2, like, I'll give you an example. My girlfriend, she was here, she was listening, you know, I was putting on random music, and I put on the Mega Man 2 soundtrack. And in the beginning, the first intro, it's very like slow, you know, it's nice and going, and then out of nowhere, that drop. And you got into it. That's how you make a game. That's how you make a soundtrack.
Yeah, it is so good.
So good. Like, just, I want everyone to stop listening to this, but come back, listen to that intro, and then come back and finish the pod, because man, so good.
Yeah, it's and you can find it online, you know, legally or otherwise, various places.
Yes, it is on Spotify, it is on iTunes, it is.
Yeah,
I mean, and even if you don't hear the original version, you can find so many people that remixed it, that's made it to rock version, made it into an opera version. Yep. Like, it is iconic for a reason. Oh, it's so good. I could talk about this theme all day.
Yeah. In fact, now that we're talking about it, didn't I text you while I was playing it?
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to our text.
You sure did.
Where was that? Oh, no, I just texted to say it was so effing good, and then you said that you were listening to the soundtrack as you were writing.
It was crazy because I was literally listening to the soundtrack, and then you said, Mega Man 2 is so good. I'm like, yeah.
I had just finished my hour with it, and I was like, well, I just want to keep going. And going back to that question from Ryan O last week about what could you play for 4 hours straight. Maybe not 4 hours straight, because I would probably wind up beating it twice in that time, but
yeah.
Man, Mega Man 2. So good.
So good, guys. So good. So good, ladies and gents. So good. It's a little unfair for little Samson. I'm gonna say it right now, but
yeah, this is just a bad break for the second lowest seed, right? I feel like there was one random lower, like Mega Man 5 is lower. Yeah, Mega Man 4 is the only seed lower left in the tournament. But I feel like it being a Mega Man game doesn't really make it a Cinderella story in the same way that Little Samson was, because it doesn't have that franchise behind it. It'd be like calling a Disney movie underrated. Like, no, everybody likes the Disney movies.
Yeah, and there is still a lot of people that say that Disney movies overrated. I don't know if you're watching the same movie as we are, because a lot of those aren't overrated, but maybe, you know.
I mean, you know, everything's subjective. Everybody's got their opinions.
That is true. That is true.
But yeah, you can't really call anything an underdog if it's got that big name slapped on it.
Yeah.
You can't call Black Widow a small indie movie. No. That's got that Disney and Marvel and huge movie stars all over it.
Yeah, or Loki, small time like TV series. It's probably like one of the most expensive TV series of all time.
Yeah, probably. I would imagine the per episode cost for 6 episodes of Loki is probably more than most network TV shows get for 22.
Yeah, I think what they say is like it costs like a full length movie.
Wow.
I mean, think about it. You're paying Tom Hiddleston, like,
yeah,
that's probably
and
the whole
Owen
budget
Wilson.
and Owen Wilson, and the season finale episode guy that I won't say, but yeah,
right. Mm-hmm.
Like he's a big time actor now too. So
yes, indeed. Well, and even I don't feel like this is spoiling. Richard E. Grant is probably not that cheap, and he was just in like an episode and a half.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So this game, it's crazy that you said the first one bombed. I feel like a lot of people think this is the first Mega Man.
I mean, in terms of being a franchise builder, it kind of is.
It kind of is, yeah. There's actual like
based on the success of this one that Capcom was like, okay, yeah, keep making them. And next week when we talk about Mega Man 3, we'll talk about what wound up happening with the Kitamura, the director, in the future games in the franchise. But for now, he got this one made just on sheer, balls, just walking up to Capcom and being like, I want to make another one. Yeah,
we just need that now, man.
Yeah,
that's a problem. Now people aren't buying Mega Man games; they're buying Fortnite skins. But
yeah, they're buying loot boxes and rather than these free to play games, or even the ones they've already spent $60 on, like 2K. I'm just gonna keep throwing money at cards.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with it.
No, but I mean, like, that's the way games are now, is rather than coming out with I mean, they do still come out with new stuff, but it's more often like, hey, here's a new scenario for Red Dead Online or GTA Online, rather than just making a whole new GTA game. We'll just keep expanding what's already there, because people will just keep paying for that. So it's bound to be significantly cheaper than rolling up a brand new game.
Yeah. And that's a crazy thing. Like for sports games, the money making on the sports games is not people buying the games itself. It's people buying the My Teams,
it's the microtransactions inside of them.
And every sports game has it. I mean, football has I forgot what football is called, but I know baseball is like the Baseball Dynasty and MLB Dynasty, I think it's called the mode.
That's right.
And then FIFA has Ultimate Team. And I mean, these things, Ultimate Team, I was reading, I was like, man, that thing makes so much more money than the other ones, because soccer is a bigger sport throughout the world, and they're getting euros on top of, I mean, so is like 2K, and there's all these other fans of these other games, but not like FIFA.
No, like FIFA, no.
Yeah, like EA makes so much money on the microtransactions on that. That's kind of, I get why EA kind of sold themselves for a little bit. But now they're getting better. So that's good.
Yeah, you're getting there.
Yeah, because now you could, for Ultimate Team players, I think it starts next FIFA, but now you could see what you're actually going to get in the loot boxes. So
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Rather
so
than
you
having to
know,
chase every time.
right. But they're probably going to be like my team, where it's like, all right, this is a percentage you have to get a player that's 98 overall, right?
Right.
But the percent is so little that
Right.
you're going to see it very little.
You could
Anyway,
get them.
yeah,
Won't, but you could.
it's just gambling, or if you play a TCG, it's just like opening booster packs where you could get for $3.99 you could get a $50 card, but that gamble.
Right. But you may have to open 15 packs to
hmm
get it, and at which point you've paid $60 for your $50 card.
Yep. Don't worry, listeners. I'm a sucker too. I'm a
Yeah,
sucker
and that's not
too.
I if it came across like denigrating that, I didn't mean it to. It was just that's just how games are now.
No, and honestly, we should, because in some form it is gambling, and you have like underage people doing this. It's not right.
Yeah, that is
But
true. The fact that it's marketed to kids
yeah, and
is
like
bad.
during the pandemic, people got addicted to this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, I get it. You you really need to watch out, but also at the same time, I also get that it's very fun
Mm-hmm.
and could be not rewarding, but it could be cool if you end up getting like really good characters or players. Like I did. I sold my soul. So here we are. So Mega Man 2.
Mega Man 2.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I think we were both about to say the same thing. Want to get into who made it farther?
Let's do it.
Who made it farther? Who made it farther?
For Little Samson, with the password, I picked right back up where I was on the volcano level, which is just brutal. And I made it to the dragon boss at the end of that level fairly early on, and then spent the next 53 minutes trying to beat that boss, dying, getting game over, starting back at the beginning of the volcano level, fighting my way back to the dragon boss, dying again, over and over and over again. Finally beat him.
Yeah.
And the next level starts immediately with what we've established as one of my least favorite NES tropes: bouncing enemies.
Oh no.
There are eyeballs that bounce and come after you. And I mean, I only had 7 minutes left on the timer anyway. So whatever the next level after the volcano is where I ran out of time.
So I made it to the ending of the ice level.
Okay. Did you start from scratch again, or did you pick up from the
No,
password?
I picked up. So I was at right before the volcano. I was in the green building.
Okay.
It's before the volcano for sure.
Okay. Yeah, you were in the ice palace. The
There was the ice palace, and then the last boss of the green thing was like this wizard that was flying around shooting like circle balls.
Mhm. Yeah, and then you
He
beat
turns
him
into
and
like
he
a
turns
knight.
in the knight. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's where I stopped because
Okay.
that was hard.
Yes.
And
Wow.
honestly, I played this after Mega Man, and that kind of took all out of me. So,
Well, all
because
right. That's one more for me, narrowing the gap. So Mega Man 2, I beat it last time, so I was starting from scratch this time. And well, I went first last time. How far did you make it on Mega Man 2?
Mega Man 2, I beat it.
Did you? I got
Yes.
close. I was in the fourth section of Wily's castle when I ran out of time.
Oh,
The
yeah,
the moving rail puzzle rooms, like where you
yeah.
like drop onto them, and I was in those when my timer ran out. So that's right before that the boss with the walls and the dome things that shoot you.
Yep.
That was where I ran.
I was having a hard time with the damn Gutsman tank.
Oh, that boss battle is brutal.
So
I hate
brutal.
that
I was
thing.
like, whoa.
It's
But
not that bad. I don't remember what weapon it was, but I found one that did a ton of damage to him, but you had to get right up on him.
yeah,
So
I think it's the boomerang.
I think
the
you're right. I think it
boomerang
was the
move,
boomerang.
that suit was like the best suit, hands down. Like, I don't know. I had a lot of success with that boomerang. I was like, this is a little easier than I thought. A little bit.
All right, well, that's for the 1 point I made back. You got 2 more back. So wait, you didn't beat it in
I
2
thought I
hours
beat
in
it.
round 2. Oh, you did, didn't you?
No, I did, yeah. And then this time
You did it in
I
less
mean,
than
I
an hour this time.
kind of cheated. I remember one of the passwords. So like I was like, all right, let me start here.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's a little cheating, but
A little cheating. So if you don't want to give me
no,
it's
no, no,
fine.
no. It counts. It counts.
But I was like, well, I beat it the first time. I don't know how I'm gonna beat it. I mean, I probably could have beat it in an hour. So I'll be honest, if I had an hour to play it, I would probably just beat the bosses.
So where did
'Cause,
you pick up with your password? How
I mean,
far?
I ain't gonna lie. I started right with Wally's castle.
Oh. So I beat like 11 levels. Yeah, I'm taking that win away.
Yeah, you can take it away.
Well, I'm going to take away the bonus point for beating the game, but I'm still going to give you the win.
I will
'cause you-
take it. I will allow it.
Yeah.
I don't like it, but I will take it.
Because I beat all 8 bosses and 3 parts of the castle.
See, I did that with my 2-hour run, so
Right.
I could be mean and be like, been there, done that, man. Come on, you gotta you gotta step it up a little, man. But no.
So, I mean, it kind of sounds like this is a foregone conclusion for the winner. But I should point out that the winner of today's matchup is going to face either RC Pro-Am or Mega Man 5 in the round of 16. So we may wind up with Mega Man versus Mega Man if we pick Mega Man 2 here. The audience seems to have leaned the way that we are. It got 83% of the online vote for Mega Man 2. And I'm just going to go ahead and give the win to Mega Man 2. It's as great as Little Samson is. Mega Man 2 is an all-timer.
I agree. Mega Man 2, the better game. I know we didn't talk about about the gameplay and stuff before, because I think the first time we played it, we talked about it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just so good, man. The way you could just switch up your gameplay. I mean, you could switch suits. You could just it changes the game. It just and then the bosses are great. The music, it's just the music, man. The music of Mega Man 2.
Yeah, this one, like, I feel like, because all of the Mega Mans kind of follow the same sort of pattern, but I feel like Mega Man 2 is the peak of, like, the boss matches the weapon, matches the level, matches the music better in 2 than in any of the other Mega Man games. Like, they're all just so linked in those 4 regards that it's hard to separate them. Whereas other games, like Mega Man 3 is great, but like off the top of my head, I'm not sure what Snake Man's theme is. But I could do most of the Mega Man 2 bosses just from memory, from childhood, having played it so much, and the themes being that memorable.
I agree. And like I said, there's so many versions of this song. Like, I mean, look at an artist like Mega Ran. He has a whole album that's dedicated to the music. I think of Mega Man 2. I think of Mega Man in general, but he definitely has a remix for Mega Man 2.
Well, it's the best stuff.
That's stuff, man. If you want some good 2-bit or bit music, 16-bit music, things like that, like 8-bit, things like
Yeah.
that. This
Chiptune.
is definitely where to go.
Yeah. All right. Well, before we move on to what we're talking about next week and plugs and stuff, we do have a question of the week from Ryan O, which is, which NES game concept do you think would have been improved with the Zapper light gun? Which I feel like the NES era was not really ready for first-person shooters. There was definitely, the hardware couldn't quite handle that. But if there was, say, a mini game in like Contra where you were just like shooting aliens as they popped up, that could be fun.
Yep.
I think
Zapper, like what games? I mean, I think any of those Contra games, or maybe even like Gradius. Like, I know you're not a ship, but
yeah, Gradius
maybe
could
when
work.
like when things come up in the screen, you can just like aim the gun at it, and the ship will move to. I don't know. That would probably be a weird thing to. Yeah, I mean, the Zapper gun was only made for what? Duck Hunt, maybe?
Duck Hunt, Hogan's Alley. There had to have been more than those two, but it's coming to NES. Like,
Here, I'm looking at it now. The Adventures of Bayou Billy, Baker Bills, Daydreamin' Davy, Duck Hunt, Freedom Force.
yeah, on that same list.
Hogan's Alley.
I remember Adventures of Bayou Billy, but I didn't remember it being light gun compatible.
Huh, man.
Duck Hunt. We had Duck Hunt in Hogan's Alley.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember Gotcha, but I don't know that I ever played it. And look at that legacy. In the 1989 animated series Captain N the Game Master, the main character uses the reissued orange NES Zapper as a weapon during his time in Videoland. It is not Mega Man May, so we will not be spending the entire month talking about Mega Man games. But next week we are going to talk about, because it's hard to talk about Mega Man 2 without also talking about Mega Man 3, because they're kind of like 1 and 1A in terms of popularity. So next week, the number 16 seed Mega Man 3 will be taking on number 81 Journey to Silius. That'll be another fun Cinderella story versus the Goliath here, as I mixed my metaphors. Plugs, challenge.com/Kings of Consoles, where you can see the bracket up through last week's results. So you can see now Ninja Turtles 2 has moved on. Next week, we will add Mega Man 2. ko-fi.com/Kings of Consoles, where if you feel like it, you can throw a little money our way. We don't have a Patreon or anything like that, but if you feel like, what did we decide a couple weeks ago? It was like $74 a piece for the retro bits or retro.
Yeah.
I've forgotten what it was called. The remaster of Metal Storm. That'd be where you do that. Twitch.tv/Kings of Consoles, Facebook.com/Kings of Consoles. We are at Kings of Consoles on Twitter. I'm at Loopy Date.
And I'm at Ricky GN7.
You can email us, kingsofconsolespod@gmail.com. And of course, you can rate, subscribe, review, all that good stuff on pretty much any podcasting platform you like. So yeah, next week, Mega Man 3 and Journey to Silius. And until then, play old games.
Play old games, everyone.
Kings of Consoles is recorded in Nashville and Orlando and is produced and edited by me, Pat Dooley. Thanks to Captain Portal for our theme song, intro for a non-existent video game, which can be found at freemusicarchive.org. And the music and sound effects from this week's games can be found with a quick Google search. The opinions expressed in this and every episode are our own, and we are in no way sponsored by or affiliated with Nintendo. We're just big fans.